second case study, it's related to Beirut Port explosion or blast. It was happened in 2020 in August 4th, and they classified this. It is like one of largest non-nuclear man-made blasts in the history. So, brief intro. The first time it was in 1958 to find the first ionospheric disturbance associated with above ground nuclear tests. It was in Johnston Island. And then in 1963, this kind of tests, it was banned and replaced with underground nuclear explosion. And this kind of explosion became underground, and the atmospheric wave resulting from it became weak than before. In the beginning, they using Doppler sounding to find the ionospheric variation. And in 1997, they're starting to use TEC derived from GPS data to find the propagation speed for over New Mexico explosion. And recently, Park and Jung Xiaohong is studying the North Korean underground nuclear explosion, and they concluded that there is a similar short-lived wave oscillation happened associated with this nuclear test. Here we can see video showing Beirut explosion. It was a severe explosion. And it was resulting from the explosion of about 3,000 tons from ammonium nitrate. And this equivalent to 1,500 from TNT. To see the effect before, in the left-hand side, we can see before the explosion and after the explosion, what happened to the board. And also here we can see in this map, this is before, and you can see the impact of the explosion. This is the hole is about 40 meters as a radius. Is very big hole. This happened from this explosion. It was very severe explosion. The research question for this study, we asking, could the Beirut explosion perturb the ionosphere? Actually, there is a study in last year, in February by Kondo, and in September by Jonah. They investigated the same event of Beirut explosion, and only they investigated the southern part deviation or anomalies of ionosphere. And as they mentioned, this the Kondo said, we also know that such clear disturbance signals are either missing or ambiguous at GNSS station. He said over Turkey and Cyprus, there is some missing or ambiguous disturbance. We focus on the missing data. We think because they used polynomial fitting, and this method we prove before, it can filter out the variation or the small variation in the ionosphere, and also because their study is depending on VTEC or vertical total electron content, and as I mentioned before, in the VTEC value sometimes is not convenient because of mapping function. So we focus on STEC, the pure value, slanted total electron content, to study the ionospheric variation for this study. The data we used here, we used the course station from Turkey and the IGS station around the area of interest. And also we used electron density profile from COSMIC 2. In addition to space weather indices, we used them in our study. Here is the method we used. As I mentioned before, there is some methods like the trending method to find the variation. Some of them is depending on the days before the event. But here, as we can see, is a geostationary operational environment satellite. See that there is like solar flares happened during the daytime for the days before the event. So we prefer to use such a method is just depending on the day of the event and don't depend on the days before the event. The method we use in this, it is Savitsky Glow filter. It's a simple method. Here we can see this is we just fitting the value or find or modeling the value and subtract from the real value for a specific time. Then we can see there is some ionospheric variation or not. The results. Here is the space weather indices. As we can see during the event, the day of the event, there is some, it is in a steady state, it's less than 4 kb index. So we can consider it as a stable or normal space weather. Here is the results for the south part to the south of the explosion. The left side, we can see here the dashed line is the time of explosion. And after about 11 minutes, we can see the disturbance. And almost it is synchronized over the two station drag and ram. This is data for the satellite G2020, the STEC value. And here in the middle part, there is Morlet wavelet to convert the time domain to frequency domain. We can see the period of disturbance is from 1 to about 3 minutes. And the last panel, we can see this is a ground track for the satellite G2020. And the red triangle is port of Beirut. And this is the circle of the maximum disturbance point or maximum IPP, ionospheric pairs point. We located it. For the north part of the explosion, we can see the disturbance is happened or delayed. It's about 21 minutes after the explosion. And this because the station, it was in Turkey and far away from the explosion. And also this is the ground track. We can see this is the north for the north valley, north direction for the two station. And also we can see a synchronization, almost synchronized in the disturbance between or over the two station, Mahrous and Dibik over Turkey. There are more results, but I'm only showing that because the time is limited. Here we can see this is a calculation for the velocity over the south direction and the north direction over different station with the same satellite. Here we can see the distance. We calculated also the distance, but there is different velocity. For the south, it's more faster than the north direction. And this is warranted by previous studies because of ionospheric disturbance can travel with different velocities at different regions. So this is confirmed from previous results. The electron density profile from COSMIC. We can see here in the magnifying magnifying square, there is like a clear N shape is disturbance, and this happened at altitude 575 kilometers, and this take about 30 minutes to arrive to this altitude. But from altitude 300 to 575, it takes about 20 minutes. So it's 10 minutes from the ground to 300. It takes about 10 minutes, and then take about 20 minutes. So it indicates that the propagation speed of the wave slow down with altitude. The finding from this work, GNSS STC variation have been observed over Cyprus and Turkey on the day of the event, 217. The TEC disturbance coincide in space and time with Beirut explosion. Also, we focus on meticulous observation for space weather and the synchronization in the variation in ionosphere, indicating that the ionospheric disturbance have been induced by the blast rather than any random event. And the electron density from cosmic 2 is showing the ionospheric response to the explosion could arrive to the higher atmosphere. The conclusion for the whole work, here with investigation of a spatial temporal ionospheric response to the typhoon and giant explosion under meticulous observation for the space weather. Also, we used multiple detrending technique that could increase the verification chances of the detectable span for perturbation duration. The highest TEC value during the cyclone, it was happened during the second highest wind speed, and this was a new finding in this research. Also, meridional wind and the resulting wave may contribute into upper atmospheric coupling. Last, the missing disturbance over Turkey and Cyprus, we already investigated them in the north of the explosion. For the future work, we've tried to focus on more events, especially hot areas like earthquake and volcano. In addition to focus on TEC tomography for studying the ionospheric variation in 3 dimensions, investigate seismic data, and we're working now on it to include them in Beirut explosion, because it's important to understand the lithosphere atmosphere ionospheric coupling or lack. Using space-based GNSS observation like cosmic, or now there is like Cygnus satellite for GNSS reflectometry. It also can use beside the ground-based from CORS and IGS station. It will be helpful for more investigation. And this is a major publication based on this lecture. We can return to them. And that's all. And this is my content. If there is some need to contact with me, I'm very happy to contact, and I'm ready for question. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Mohamed, for this very interesting lecture. But before we open the door for the questions,